G'day fellas, and welcome to another Age of Empires 4 video where we talk about Dynasties of the East, the brand new DLC for Age of Empires 4. Today we're looking at the Golden Horde. This video is going to be in three parts. We look at the Golden Horde, number one, over on this little preview that they've got, then we jump into the tech tree, take a look at exactly what they've got available, and then finally we'll jump in the game and have a look at exactly how all the mechanics work. So let's get to it. We'll start off by talking about some of the key differences here. So our three keywords are aggression, cavalry, and horde. That last one's very important because it very much feels like you're playing the Zerg from StarCraft when you're playing the Golden Horde. There are so many damn units. Anyway, let's get to it and take a look at their bonuses. Some of them similar to the Mongols, some of them not so much. This of course is a Mongol variant. So you start with maximum population limit. Units are always recruited in batches. Stockyards are a unique building that can be worked by 4 villagers and is a food drop-off. Uvus can be built on multiple stone deposits, increasing stone income. Unique technologies, costing only stone. Stables available in the Dark Age. Age up by building and upgrading the Golden Tent, which is very similar to the Abbasids and the Ayyubids, the way that they age up. Fortified outposts provide influence or aura bonuses based on edicts set in the Golden Tent. Silk Road, where traders generate food, wood, and gold with their active traders, and transport ships have 50% health, 15% move speed, and scouts can deploy the Scouting Falcon ability. So a lot of similarities there to the Mongols that you'll be familiar with. As an example, they start with the maximum population as well. The transport ships have the extra health and extra speed. They've got the Silk Road bonuses, stables available in the Dark Age, but that's really where it kind of ends. The civilization is incredibly different from the Mongols. The way it plays, the way it feels is quite interesting. There's definitely nothing quite like it in Age of Empires 4 currently. So anyway, let's dive into the tech tree. I'll start by just scrolling down over on the left-hand side. We're not going to be reading through any of this, but if you'd like to pause the video, feel free to go ahead and do that because there's a lot of information in here. And look, we're not going to read, we're going to sort of talk a little bit about it. So we'll get back to the Golden Tent in a little bit, but let's first take a look at the town center. So one of the things that you'll notice here is it says 50 food, but it takes 37 seconds. That's not true. It's actually 100 food, if I remember correctly. It might be less. It might be like 90 food. But it gives you 2 villages instead of 1. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Russians from Age of Empires 3 in that batch training concept. They have the same thing, except it was 3 villages that you would get. Now, when it comes to batch training your scout in the stable is a batch train, but your scout in the town center is not. So one interesting little difference. I think it's the only unit I can find that isn't done. I guess the Badu Khan is also another one. But anyway, so that's the town center. You've got your Gur here with some upgrades. So unique upgrades being rotation grazing and overgrazing, which are specific to your sheep gathering, right? So it's your unique building that we'll talk more about as we go on. There's also some unique upgrades for the Uvu, so increasing the Uvu stone gather rate by 30% and another by 30%. Uvus will be a big part of this civilization, so we'll make sure that we get into it. So must be built on a stone outcropping. Harvest 60 stone per minute, even from depleted stone deposits, and the build limit is increased by 1 after each age up. So I will say right now, even if the stone deposit is exhausted and then someone comes along and kills your Uvu, you can then still rebuild the Uvu on the same stone deposit. It will still allow you to do that. So a really cool little mechanic there. So then we've got the stockyard, which is their unique farm is probably the best way to say, or pasture. So it's a food drop-off and harvestable food source. So you use a villager to gather food from the sheep carcasses. Up to 4 villagers can work each stockyard. So it is the same size as a barracks. So a little bit bigger than a farm, but a little bit smaller than a town center. And it uses less space by far than farms do. So you can have very small bases with this civilization and at the same time have so many villas just working and cranking. It's really cool for this. For our barracks, let's take a look at our units. You've got your spearmen, your men-at-arms, and of course you've got the Karash. Now, what is the Karash? The Karash, those who know what the Karash is, this is a unit that historically was a slave, or I guess slave is like captive, prisoner, potentially. They would just take them and give them weapons and say, good luck. Sometimes they just didn't even give them weapons. Just like good luck and send them towards the enemy. So it's a low health and low damage melee infantry that passively increases the armor of nearby units. I like how they've done that as well. Passively increases the armor. It's very active the way that they increase the armor in real life. But here it's just a +1 bonus that you get for all your adjacent infantry. I shouldn't laugh, but it's just one of those things. It's history, right? So anyway, so we've got the spearmen, we've got the men-at-arms, and we've got battlefield salvage. which increases the Karash's equipped armor, gives them 2 ranged armor, 2 melee armor, and gives them an extra 25 health, which is quite a bit because they don't have a lot of health because they are just, well, they're not the strongest of ladies or gentlemen. Then we've got barracks reinforcements, which is very cool. So everything in here is a batch training. So you've got a batch of 2, a batch of 2, a batch of 2 for all of these. The numbers aren't authentic, so I'll just say that right now. When we dive into the game, we'll have a look at the authentic numbers. The train times are authentic, it's just the costs are, I think, doubled in all of these situations. And then we've got 300 stone and then 950 stone. So this is increasing the amount of barracks production. So basically, instead of getting 2 men-at-arms, you'll get 3 men-at-arms per batch, which is very cool. Basically reduces the cost of your unit significantly, and these bonuses exist for both the barracks and the stable. We've got it down here a little bit further, stable reinforcements, and for the archery range. So yes, it is great for things like hand cannoneers. So for our stable, we've got early horsemen, or horsemen, the Keshik, and that is it that we've got in here. We've also got the scout, I guess, technically. We've got Sari Lancers, which you'll be familiar with from the Mongols, which give them a little bit of healing, a little bit of attack speed. The Tughlag also gets this bonus, so we'll talk about the Tughlag very, very soon, once we get into the age ups, which will be very shortly, but it is a cool unit. And then we've got padded armor, which increases the Tughlag and the horseman's ranged armor by 2, or sorry, melee armor, sorry, ranged and melee armor, I apologize, and health by 20. So this is a massive upgrade, very expensive as well, 800 stone. Then we've got the stables reinforcement for 950. So a lot of stone is going on in here. You can see it is very much like, I don't think you're going to be making emplacements. You want to be, yeah, you want to be getting upgrades. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, we got the dock. Nothing too crazy in here. I think about the craziest is just piracy, which you'll be familiar with from the Mongols. And I think that's pretty much it. Lastly, we've got the fortified outpost. So they've got a unique outpost. So it is an outpost that costs quite a bit more, as we can see right here, but it's got a lot more health. And it offers you this ability to have edicts. So it offers extensive line of sight and detects units. Stealth or disguises can be upgraded with weaponry and fortifications, attacks while garrisoned. So basically, it's got a influence around it. So the same way that like the Holy Roman Empire's got influence around its town center, it's got a small influence around it. The fortified outpost and buildings that you build there can be affected by it. And depending on what you want depends on the buff that you can give. As an example, you can do a production boost to your military buildings. That's one. Another one is that you can buff up your pastures, or not pastures, not farms. You'll have to excuse me as I return up here to see the stockyard. So you can buff up the stockyard. There's an edict for the stockyard. We'll talk more about edicts a little bit sooner, or a little bit later. So you've got some unique upgrades in here. We've got Glorious Charge. Adds the Glorious Charge ability to outposts. So fortified outposts. When activated, it starts a 10-second timer, which reveals the outpost and the nearby area to all players. So if you're playing FFA and you pop the Glorious Charge ability, everyone on the map will see that the Glorious Charge is about to be used. When the timer ends, all nearby allied units will gain plus 50% movement speed. And I will just say right now, this does not observe the movement speed cap. There is a movement speed cap. I think it's like 2.25 movement speed. It does not observe that. Your units will go faster than the movement speed cap. And they take 15% less damage for 30 seconds. That is insane. That is absolutely crazy. It's going to be very hard to attack into this civilization with Glorious Charge, because if you make one wrong move, if you overextend, you will die quickly. And then we've got Earthen Core Walls, which increase the fortified outpost and palisade fire armor by +3 and health by 300. And yes, that is right. You heard it correctly. They do have walls, palisade gates, all the palisades. Okay, let's go back and talk about the Golden Tent. So the Golden Tent is the House of Wisdom, basically, for the Golden Horde. The functionality is different. So it costs 50 gold rather than 50 wood. Available in here is also all of our age ups, but we've also got access to a unit called the Batu Khan. And it is your unique Khan here. It's melee cavalry. It's got a lot of health. And one of the cool things about it is that if you build the Tughlag unit, you can redirect damage from the Batu Khan into a Tughlag. You don't get to choose which one. It just chooses automatically for you, and it's instantaneous. So basically what that means is the longer that the fight is going on and the Batu Khan is trying to be focused down, they're just going to be killing Tughlags. That's essentially it. So let's get into some of the age ups that you've got access to. First and foremost, we've got Khan and Torguds. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just going to go Torguds. So we've got reduces the stone cost of the Khan and Torguds by 20% and increases their health by 30. Now keep in mind, the Khan is a single unit. You can only have one of them. whereas the Tughlag, you batch train it. So I think it comes out in batches of 2. So you can see if it takes a minute, they're quite big, tanky. They've got a lot of health, not a whole lot of attack on them. I'll say that right now. So yeah, pretty cool unit. So that's the first one. So increases their health by 30 and also reduces their cost. Then we've got building carts. Produces 2 building carts, which can be unpacked into a military building. An additional building cart is produced when advancing to later ages. So those are your 2 age ups when it comes, or 2 options when it comes to aging up. So building carts makes a lot of sense if you want to get into it early on, but the Khan and Tughlad's definitely a more long-sighted goal, and it really depends on the kind of play style that you want. Do you want to play into Tughlags, I apologize. Do you want to play into that, or do you want to play more into the upgrades? Because you're going to have a lot of stone, but whether or not you're going to be able to justify both is going to be a different question. We'll get into the rest of the age ups shortly, but before we do that, let's take a look at what we've got available in the second age. So we've got 850 wood cost town centers, which have got all the same things that we saw before. We've got the market, which has got the trader and stone commerce for that lovely juicy stone on your silk roads. We've got a blacksmith with nothing in here at all that is not out of the ordinary. Everything makes sense except for one thing. You would have seen it down the bottom. They don't have access to military academy. Instead, they've got access to increased supplies, which increases the production speed of military buildings by 50% for 400 stone. That is an absolute bargain. 50% is incredible. So that basically reduces a spearman down from, what, 15 seconds down to 9 seconds? Somewhere in that region, maybe? Probably, maybe 10 seconds, somewhere around that. So it's quite a nice reduction. And then on top of that, you've also got the bonus that comes through from the fortified outpost. Then you've got the battering ram, you've got the siege tower, and you've got the archery range. The archery range has your archer, your crossbowman, your hand cannoneer, and your kipchak. Your kipchak archer. Now, when this guy starts off, he doesn't really have too much going for him. But then he starts to get his upgrades and he really starts moving forward. So we've got the archery range reinforcements, which give you the +1, but the triple shot is where it's at. Deals or fires 2 additional arrows that each deal 50% less damage. So this is particularly good against backline units that have got low armor. It is going to rip through them. So that is something to note. They don't have a huge amount of range on them, but still a pretty cool unit. Very quick. I think that's the key here, is that they're fast units. So those are your age 2 options. Let's take a look at our age 3 age ups. So we've got Muscovy Yasak and we've got Relic Uvus. Muscovy Yasak, the way it works is, or we'll read it first and then I'll explain. The conquered Rus territories will provide larger shields to heavy infantry and heavy cavalry, increasing their ranged armor by 2. Wood will also be generated at the rate of 200 per minute, but it is reduced by 2 wood for each unit equipped with a Rus shield. So as you can see, you start with 200 wood per minute. Congratulations, you're now making 200 wood per minute after your age up. Lovely. But then every subsequent unit that you have that's a heavy unit is going to take a shield, but it's going to reduce that wood per minute. Now, I don't know whether or not that's active. So if you've got 100 units and they all die, I would assume that all your wood per minute would go from 0 per minute back up to 200 per minute. That's what I would assume, until you retrain units, and then it would eat into that wood. But it affects heavy infantry and heavy cavalry. And one of the things that you will notice is that with the Tughlag, if we scroll down to it, it is a heavy melee cavalry. So now all of a sudden, it's already got a base armor, but here you're able to go in and grab that extra ranged armor here, because it's a heavy cavalry. And then of course there's even more upgrades. I think where were we looking at for those upgrades? There was more upgrades, maybe in the stable potentially. The padded armor, yeah, the padded armor. So in the castle age, now you're potentially looking at an extra +4 ranged armor on the Tughlag and an extra +2 melee armor. So that's on top of your blacksmith upgrades as well. So yes, quite exciting. Now, if we scroll down, we'll take a look. So these are available in the feudal age. I should have mentioned the Battle the Tughlag. We haven't actually talked about these ones yet, so we'll get into these as well. But we'll make sure that we talk about relic Uvus first. Shamans can consume a held relic to build an Uvu, which can exceed the build limit. Increases Uvu stone gather rate by 20%. Oh yeah. Yes. So, you know, this is fun. I like this idea. I like this a lot. I don't know if you lose a relic Uvu, whether you can just rebuild it with just a normal Uvu in the same spot. I would suspect you probably can, but I have not tested that yet. So those are your options. Now, normally when it comes to this, I have definitely been going for relic Uvus. I like having stone. And so because of that, you get more stone and you get more Uvus and more Uvus with more stone. So it's just, it feels really nice to have this and to be able to pick up all the relics and sort of, and just have a big stone economy. So let's talk a little bit about some of the upgrades in here that we haven't actually talked about yet. So first off, we've got the Khan debuff arrow available in the feudal age. 300 stone. The Khan can fire a signal arrow that reveals a 10-tile range and makes enemies receive a plus 10% damage in the targeted area for 15 seconds. So basically, the way that I kind of see this working is you're going to be doing your golden charge from your, let me pull it up, from your fortified outpost, your glorious charge, not your golden charge, your glorious charge, and then after that's completed, your enemy's probably going to be running away from you, but you're going to catch them because you've got 50% movement speed, and then as you're running towards them, you're going to pop the Khan debuff arrow, increasing the amount of damage that they receive. So that's how I suspect it's going to go down. Now, when it comes to edicts, we don't actually see all the edicts here, just because these are ones that you unlock. You already have a couple that are unlocked, but just to explain what these ones are, we've got the Karash Edict. So when a Karash Edict is active, you can only have one edict active at a time. The Golden Tent and military buildings within the influence of a fortified outpost produce an additional Karash whenever any unit is recruited. So if, as an example, you build Spearmen, you get one Karash with it. And that's kind of good because that means that later on in the game, you don't want to have to build Karash. You just want them to naturally come out. So that's quite a nice little bonus to have there. And so you're getting free resources in that. But of course, there is an opportunity cost in the sense that you can only have one edict available at a time. And that edict will go out on every single specific fortified outpost. It's not just like you get to pick one, like Cisterns, and this one's going to be this, and this one's going to be that. No, it's all the same. And then the next one is the Stockyard Edict. So when the Stockyard Edict is active, stockyards within the influence of a fortified outpost generate gold while being worked. Now, how much gold is it? It's 10 gold per villager while it's being worked. So if you've got 4 villagers on a stockyard, that's 40 gold that's coming through per minute. So, you know, if you're talking endgame, you've probably got 60 vills on food. So this is 600 gold per minute. So comparable to taxes, comparable to the English and their Imperial age. It's a good source of gold. It's a great source of gold. Probably best targeted towards the late game rather than the early game, but it's still a thing. So you could absolutely go for it. But yeah, I think something like this is best kept for like Imperial age, super ultra late game, you know, 130 vills sort of thing. Anyway, let's move into Age 3. We've talked about the age ups for it. We'll continue scrolling down all the way down towards Age 3, where we've got access to the Prayer Tent, the Shaman, the Herbal Medicine, all of these, and we've got Uvu Tithe, so a unique upgrade. You don't have Tithe for relics, which just gives you more of a intent, or not more of an intent, but more of a reason to go to relic Uvus, because now you've got relic tithe. So Uvus provide Uvu Tithe. Uvus provide an income of 60 food, 60 wood, and 10 gold every minute. So a really nice little upgrade there. And then our Siege Workshop. We've got one unique upgrade in here to talk about. I've tried using it. I'm still not a fan. Actually, there's 2 in here. Earthen Core Walls we've already talked about. It's available at the fortified outpost. But we've got Beachhead. Beachhead. Rams gain an ability that will immobilize themselves. They can't attack, by the way, when they're immobilized, because immobilized, typically you'd associate that with not being able to move. But they do gain stronger defensive bonuses, and it allows them to fire multiple arrows. So basically, when you garrison a unit inside, it will get an arrow that it can shoot. The trouble is that the firing rate, the attack speed is very slow on it. So in theory, I was like, yeah, this is going to be sick. I'm going to get like 5 rams. I'm going to fill them with Karash, and then I'm going to just park them with Beachhead and just sit there destroying the enemy army. And then they just like ran over the top of me because the attack speed was too slow. So, but I'll still show it off to you. I think it's got potential, but it's going to be a little bit more niche. Who knows? Maybe there's a super overpowered way to use it, and we just haven't found, or I just haven't found it in the 1 hour that I've played this civilization. It's probably a bit more than an hour, probably closer to 5 hours or something like that. And then finally, the Imperial Age. Let's get to it. You've got stone armies. The Golden Tent can rapidly produce unique units at a discounted stone cost, and Rus tributes are upgraded with increased armor and a Bardich axe. Okay, there you go. And then we've got Yam Network Trade. The Golden Tent will generate 10 gold every 10 seconds for each fortified outpost, up to a maximum of 6 fortified outposts. So assuming that you've got 6, that's 60 gold every 10 seconds, 360 gold. every minute that's coming through. And remember, if you combine that with the fact that you've got your Stockyard Edict going and 60 vils, you're looking at about 1,000 gold a minute in the late game, not including your relics or uvus that are producing just a little bit of gold. But there's a lot of passive income that is coming through from this. So yeah, I think Stone Armies is probably going to be the go-to, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, well, I think that's it. The last thing to talk about, I guess, is Rus Tribute. We haven't talked about this at all. This mechanic I'm still not 100% familiar with. So basically the way that it works is you pay stone and that cost gets reduced every 30 seconds. It reduces by a little bit, and it will increase, the amount that it reduces will increase depending on how much production buildings you've got. So if you've got 10 production buildings, it will decrease by 50 stone. So you have to pay stone to get them. They're quite good units as well. I will say that right now. They're strong units. But they're kind of like a men-at-arms that's just got more attack, is probably the best way to say it. But yeah, they're pretty quick as well, actually. But yeah, other than that, let's dive into a game and take a look at everything that we've got. We're going to play a skirmish game. We'll add an AI. We'll allow some cheats and give ourselves a maximum resources and talk about the way that this civilization plays. Because I'll be real with you, this civilization has been, I'm not going to necessarily say a bit hard to crack. I suspect I know the kind of playstyle that it's going to be. It's going to be about aggression. I think it's going to be very key here to control relics with this civilization, just because of the fact that you want stone as much as you can. But let's get into it and take a look at what we've got. So first and foremost, let's just talk about base layout. Nice and easy. Fortified outpost. You can't unpack your buildings. I don't know if they mentioned that, but yeah, you can't unpack your buildings. So fortified outpost, you want it 3 tiles away from things so you can fit everything in there. So on one side, you can put down your stockyard. So as you can see, they fit perfect. Actually, let's turn on in a jiffy. Let's get a couple more vills out here to help. And then on the other side, as an example, you can put down your barracks. Now, we didn't talk about edicts and the fact that there are edicts that you've already got that are available that you just haven't been active, or that just weren't shown. So let's drop the golden tent and take a look at that bad boy. So 50 gold for the golden tent. So we've got, and you can see that's the edict coming out right there. So it's now given the default edict, which is military buildings within influence have 20% production speed. Now keep in mind that we've also got, as we go to the second age, we've also got that extra 50% coming through. So you can get a total of 70%, which is pretty nice to have early on in the game. So your second option for an edict is defensive aura, 10% health. This civilization is going to be amazing on defense. If you dare push this enemy, you will be facing 10% extra health on their units and the potential for that glorious charge. So do keep that in mind. And of course, even in the Dark Age, you can research the Stockyard Edict that allows your let's turn in a jiffy off. Let's get these villagers over here. Might take a while. I was finding they were a bit buggy with the way that it worked. Let's have a look and see. See, it doesn't say gold is being produced right now. It might take a while for it to show. I don't know why that's happening. Give me a sec here. If I take everybody off, so if I stop them working, and then if I put them back, it should show the gold. But yeah, just, I guess, something that'll probably get worked out pretty soon. Pretty shortly. But yeah. Oh, you know what? That would help, wouldn't it? That would help, wouldn't it? All right. We solved the problem. We solved the problem. Okay, you'll see that the gold comes up shortly. But yeah, there's the little gold coming up right there. So maybe there's a world where like you actually rush for stockyards. They're kind of expensive though, right? 250 wood. Like it's a little bit cheaper than farms. But maybe there's a world where you do that. Like it's a decent amount of gold. If we think about like if you're earning, like, let's throw our GER down just quickly. And if we were to think, okay, so just to start things off, oh, that's going to take a while. You don't get any bonus gather rate here for your sheep at this stage. Even if we go up to the next age, so feudal age, that's when it unlocks. So it's only 10%. So if like that's a reasonable amount of income that you're getting, but it's just expensive. 800 stone. I don't know if we can justify it. Anyway, we've gone up into the second age. Not hanging around in the first stage, unfortunately. I didn't even like click out or check which age up we were going to do. Let's give me a sec. We're just going to go back right now. Okay, we're back. I just had to restart it because I was thinking to myself, you know what? Like, there's still things I want to talk about in the Dark Age that we need to. So of course you've got your Uvu. You want to get that bad boy down as soon as you can, and then we'll throw down our fortified outpost again. I guess realistically, you could probably do it at the front of your base. It probably makes a bit more sense because it is an outpost. You can throw these bad boys down, and I haven't actually tested with regard to the sphere. I don't know if that's the right word, but the way influence works, whether or not it has to be 100% in. Like, we've got one tile right here, and that's going to allow us to have the influence, I suspect. You can see it's in there, so you can kind of treat it the same way. You could throw them all out on the edge right there. But even then, you can see. But yeah, so you can mix and match, as we were doing before. We had the Raxes, and you can grab emplacements in here. We've got the research that's available for us. What else is there to talk about in the Dark Age? Realistically, not a whole lot. We obviously aren't putting our stables near our Uvus. We don't care that much about it. So I think at the very least, you're going to want to centralize your production, at least initially, around fortified outposts, just because you're going to be able to pick up that extra bonus production speed. And at the end of the day, production speed is always going to be a welcome addition. So if we go ahead and... you can see the villas right here. Let's turn off in a jiffy. So our villages cost 100 food, and they take 37 seconds to build. So they're building 2 at a time. They're building slightly faster than what a normal villager would build, 3 seconds. So at the beginning of the game, it's going to work out worse for you, but over the course of the game, it will work out better for you, because that 3 seconds really starts to add up, right? If you think about it, okay, after the first 40 seconds, your opponent has had 2 villages. You've got 2 villages, but you had that first one 20 seconds slower, but you had the second one was 17 seconds slower, but the second one was 3 seconds faster. But then on the next set of vills, that second villager is 6 seconds faster, and the previous one was only 14 seconds slower. So eventually it will come around. It's going to take some time, but yeah, it's definitely... I think it's a good thing, right? This is one of the things that we found in Age of Empires 3 for the Russians, is that very quickly you were like, okay, this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. It does kind of limit you, though, with regard to like just your options and spending resources. Like, you're going to have to fork out 100 food. You don't have that option to just put in 50. All right, let's get our age up in. We'll go with the golden tent, because we've got no option. That's the only way that we can age up. We'll turn on in a jiffy. In a jiffy. There we go. Okay, so we can reduce the stone cost of the Khan and Tor Guards by 20% and increase their health by 30%. Or we can go for the building carts. I think we'll just go for the building carts here. I don't know which one of these is probably going to be standard. I suspect there's probably going to be differing mines. So once you age up, they immediately drop down. And if we turn off in a jiffy, we can take a look at the speed that they are doing this. So maybe you want to play defensive. I think that's actually a pretty good option with this civilization to play defensive. So we could put down an archery range. We'll put it down over here in influence. We'll put down 2 archery ranges. So we're coming out of the gate swinging. Maybe we've got a gur as well. Let's just build our gur. We probably wanted it on the wood line. That's all right. We'll allow it. And you can see just how quick these are coming up. These are pretty damn speedy. So I don't know, 10, 15 seconds, somewhere in that region, it's coming up. So definitely respectable. Probably the equivalent of it being built by about 4 vills. We'll start training our archers. Now keep in mind, these are batch archers that we're building here. These are not single archers. These are batch built archers. And then we're on the wood line, so maybe we got double broad axe, and maybe we got wheelbarrow, so I think that's good. Let's talk about the Torkud, and specifically Batu Khan. So he's going to take 19 seconds to come out. Now, there's a reason why I think you might actually want to do archers with this civilization. Let's turn in a jiffy on, and we'll go for a quick look right now for some deer. So we're just going to use deer to emulate this. We'll grab our Khan as well, and I think we'll try and move forward. Hopefully we find the deer in this direction. So at the moment, our early game, or our stats here, aren't particularly hot, right, for our archers. These are just base level archers, 70 health, 5 damage, nothing too crazy here. We'll get our +1s in, so we're all good. Do we really not find any deer towards the front? That is disappointing. Let's... Oh, this will work, actually. Never mind, this will work. So what's going to happen here is our Batu Khan is going to hit... Oh, it doesn't actually work. We still need more. Our Batu Khan has got a buff that he applies to the units. Oh, there we go. You just saw it. So he needs to activate that buff, he needs to hit something. So it is his war cry, basically. And as you can see, that buff has now fallen off just because it was very, very quick that he did this. But these sheep right here, these are actually perfect for it. You can activate the buff with the sheep, with the deer, with the boar. You can do that. I don't know whether or not attacking, if attacking walls or buildings would activate the buff, but just to show you once again. So you'll get quite a bit of a damage buff here. So basically the point that I'm trying to make is that you actually get a very decent amount of damage that's coming through for these archers, +2 damage. which is massive when you think about it. Do we not get +1 on this? Hold on. Why is that only giving us 7 damage? Why is it only giving us 1? I was getting +3. I swear I was getting +3 before, and you can see it does say that it gives 2 damage. But anyway, that was my theory. I was like, okay, you can probably get some pretty good damage on these archers early on. Batu Khan is going to be tanking up. So Golden Khan aura increases damage +2, but it's only giving 1. Anyway, it's all right. I'm sure they'll sort it out eventually. So from here, we can look to debuff the enemy so that they're going to be taking more damage as well. We'd have the Tor Guards that are going to be out. Keep in mind, these are batch trained. They take a really long time to train. So you're looking at 50 seconds for 2 of them, so 25 seconds on each of these guys. When it comes to their base stats, the 240 health. A lot of health on them. Decent armor as well. 3-3 with +1s is very nice. Now, of course, if you've got the Karash nearby, if we can throw down a barracks here and get a Karash out here. That's a spearman. Let's get the Karash out instead. So that is going to be buffing up nearby units. So here we've got +1 armor. So now you're talking 5 armor on a feudal age unit. That is incredible. That is absolutely crazy. That is a huge amount of armor that is coming through. And then on top of that, keep in mind that Batu Khan, who doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but he's going to have all of that damage redirected. He's got Torgood protection on. And so it means that if you have a whole bunch of spears, or you're fighting a whole bunch of spears, what's going to happen is all of that damage is going to be redirected. And you can tell which unit it's going to be redirected to by this little thing on the top. So what happens is when we delete this unit, it immediately redirects. You can see there's about a split second where it goes above the head of the Batu Khan, and then it redirects straight away. So it changes it to a crown for a very, very small second. And then it changes out to a unit. So I don't know what happens in that split second. I don't know what happens with regard to overkill as well. Like, as an example, if you've got like 50 crossbows and you all shoot this single Torgood, is the damage then for this Torgood gonna, like, is this unit gonna die and then the damage goes through to Batu Khan, or does it go through to the next unit, or does it just go nowhere? I don't know the answer to that question. So that's something that we're gonna have to work out. But yeah, it's a very cool combo. I like the idea of like having these super fast archers. If we were to get a whole bunch of our archers out right here, and why can we not? Oh, it's Castle Age, that's required. If it's required in Castle Age, then it probably doesn't work as well. Yeah, that's fine then. Glorious Charges Castle Age. So where were we? We were talking about the Feudal Age and the other options that you've got. So with regard to the power spike, I feel like it probably comes through at Castle Age. So let's go ahead and let's jump into our Golden Tent. And when it comes to the Castle Age, I think going for Relic Oovers is probably going to be like the sort of longer term thing. I suspect you'll probably, like, when it comes to the combos that you're going to see, oh, excuse me, just a little bit of a involuntary spasm right there. I suspect you're probably going to see like the Khan and the Tor Guards will go together with Relic Oovers, because you want to have more stone so you can build more Tor Guards, right? That makes sense. And here you've got cheaper Tor Guards, and obviously you want as many of them as you can. Whereas I think like it's kind of optional though, I guess, with in that regard. Like, you could definitely go into Muscovy Yasak as well to get that extra little bit. So let's go ahead. Let's grab Muscovy Yasak. For now, we've got ourselves another building cart because we took that initial building carts, and we can now put that into a prayer tent. And then we don't even have to think about dropping down the shaman hut. Excuse me, the prayer tent. We don't have. Is it not going to work? What? It's interesting that we can't select it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, then we don't have to worry about putting down a prayer tent. You can see how quickly it comes up as well, and immediately we can send out our shamans here. So where are we going from here? There was something specific I wanted to talk about. I can't remember exactly what it was. Anyway, let's continue moving forward here as we take a look at the rest of the units. Oh yeah, that's right. Now I remember. So specifically, I wanted to talk about the barracks reinforcement, or just the reinforcements in general, and about why they're so powerful. So normally, we're paying, if we take a look with In a Jiffy off, we are paying 200 food, 40 gold, and waiting 38 seconds for our men-at-arms to come out. That's a bit of a wait. But what we can do with the barracks reinforcements is we can put In a Jiffy back on. Now, keep in mind, which edict are we running? Let's just double check. Yeah, we're running our production edict. We're also going to pick up this blacksmith bonus here. So now we've got super duper fast producing units. And on top of that, so instead of it waiting all that time, we're only waiting 25 seconds now. And the great thing about this is when it pops out, we get a free unit right there. Boom. Now, if you did want to go for that extra 20% production speed, because you've already got the 50% from the blacksmith, then you could look to switch it up. You can go into the Karash Edict instead. I would suspect that this is probably an edict that's better with spam units or cheaper units, right? Like, if you're spamming, like, if we were to say, like, your most expensive units, hand cannoneers. We're not going to be spamming hand cannoneers right now. We're in age 3, and we're not going to go to age 4 just yet. Let's go with Keshiks. So we're going to make 2 Keshiks, and if we've got this edict active, which we should, hold on. Why is that not working? Did we get a Karash and we just didn't see it? Should this not produce a Karash? Oh, there's the Karash. Okay, yeah, we must have got a Karash. We just didn't see it. So this Karash right here, we had to pay a lot of money just to get this Karash. So it would make more sense for us to go with like a cheaper unit, like Hardened Spearmen, and then that way we're going to get the Spearmen and the Karash as well, and we're going to pay less for it. So that's one argument for, like, yes, maybe this would be very good with trash. So if you're poor, or if you don't have access to gold, then maybe that edict could be quite strong. But other than that, I mean, when you're on the defense, it seems mandatory. You're probably going to be doing this. We can see that the edict has to fly out, and then you're going to be getting the buff. So we've got the extra 10% health. The other thing to note is that you can't pick another edict while the other one is on cooldown. So you can't mix and match and switch between them and try and min-max that way. But yeah, I think definitely while you're on the defense, that's going to be it. And then, I guess, hold on. Activate to increase the production speed of your golden tent military buildings within the influence of a fortified outpost by 50%. Oh, it goes up each age. Another thing I didn't realize. It goes up each age. So it was 20, so now it's 50, so it's probably 35 in the middle. And then, so we've got the Stoneyard Edict, so we've unlocked that now. We have already talked about how it works. We'll take a quick look here at the Rus tributes. So dispatches for Rus tributes, these are the castle age variants. So you can see they are incredibly tanky here. 6 armor, quite a bit of decent attack, and they're expensive to get, 445 stone. So you would not want to call them unless you were in an emergency, and it just went down there. So you can see it's actually going down every 30 seconds here. And the way that it works is it goes down by how many military buildings you've got. Now, a siege workshop apparently doesn't count as a military building. So let's go ahead and let's just put a whole bunch of military buildings down, so a whole bunch of Raxes, and then that amount will come down even more. So we've got lumber shipments here. Time until the next lumber shipment is in, so we've got 180 food or wood that's coming in. So here we're about to do it. How much was it? Oh, we should have been looking over here. So we're at 335. So we can do that. That'll push it up to 685. I don't know why did it go up to 685? Because it says that it increases the cost of the call Ross tributes by 300 stone. Anyway, so up to a maximum of 70 stone will be reduced. And the other thing to note is that it will automatically deploy the Rust tributes when the cost reaches 0. So with this civilization, very much it is about having a lot of military buildings. So we would need to have at least 14 to take full advantage of this. It might not seem like a big deal, but you got to remember it's progressive and it's over time. So if every 30 seconds it's gaining you 5 stone, then just by building it, you're having 5 stone every 30 seconds, so 10 stone a minute. So just by building these Raxes, this is 10 stone a minute, 10 stone a minute, 10 stone a minute, because you're essentially spawning units this way. So here we're about to go from, we're at 615, so this should be maxed out at, and we should go down to what, 545? Something like that. Let's have a look and see. Did we manage to get it? Yep, 545. Perfect. So, of course, if we click it again, if we need to get them right now, then it's going to push the cost up even more. But once it reaches 0, that's when they will start coming out for free. So it very much depends on how urgent the situation is and how much you need it. But other than that, so we've got some that are in the influence, some that are not. What else is there to talk about? There's no change to the aesthetics of these buildings when we upgrade them. We've got the Glorious Charge. Let's utilize the Glorious Charge and just show you what it's all about. Let's pick up our upgrades. We've got the Battlefield Salvage right here. Gives them a nice little shield. We'll upgrade our spears. We'll grab our Archer upgrade as well. And perhaps we're getting pushed on by the enemy. What edict would we have? If we're getting pushed on by the enemy, we would have the extra health. I think we've already got it turned on. Yes, we already have that. So you're probably going to have this in a control group, probably like control group 7 or something like that, just so that you can easily change your your edict if you need. So if you're on the defense, you're going to want it on the Aura Edict, but then once you go on the offense, you're probably going to want to keep it on the Stockyard Edict, or probably on the Production Speed, or on the Karash Edict. But we'll just go with the Production Speed. And then we're going to do the Golden Charge. So the Golden Charge, you can see it's got that circle around it. We want to make sure all of our units are within this circle. Beautiful sounds. We'll leave one of them out. So you can see this guy. He didn't get the 1.25 movement speed. But now this group, this has got 30 seconds. Look at the movement speed on the archer. 1.88. That is ludicrous. Have a look at these horsemen. Oh, these are Keshiks. What are these? These are Tour Guards? Yeah, these are Tour Guards. The Keshik's doing 2.44 movement speed. So it is crazy just how quick this is going to be. And then on top of that, remember that you've got your Khan. He's got his special debuff arrow, so you can come in here and throw out that debuff arrow. There it goes. And now anybody within that circle is going to get absolutely dumpstered by your units that have got super fast speed. It is a very vicious combo. Hey, we got a fight down here, potentially. Not potentially. You want to know what's cool? A whole bunch of units instantly. Because it's the Zerg, baby. It's the Zerg. Not really. Anyway, what else is there to talk about? Imperial Age. That's something that we could talk about. Let's get into it. The Golden Tent can rapidly produce unique units at a discounted stone cost, and Rus tributes are upgraded with increased armor. So already, they've got pretty good armor. So it does that. And then the Golden Tent will generate 10 gold every 10 seconds. I mean, there's nothing too crazy about that. So we'll just go into this option. So now they've got that barrage. That's the same one the Streltsy use when they get into melee. Have we got our defensive edict on? We probably don't. Let's make sure that we turn our defensive edict on. Let's get some Rus tributes out just to help out. Yeah, they've got pretty good stats though. If we pick up Elite Army Tactics, you can see 291 health. That's a lot of health. All right, good size army. So yeah, when it comes to this civilization and the way that it plays, I think it's going to be a very aggressive civilization. There doesn't seem to be a reason to really go for professional scouts. I think the main focus is just going to be on setting up Uvus and making sure that those Uvus don't die. I think that's going to be a big component. I think relics are going to be very important for this civilization just because you are going to want to focus on stone. So probably look to see things like fast castles or at least semi-fast castles that are going to be quite popular. And I think the primary playstyles will be that there will be either two focuses. You'll either have a person who's really focused on getting out tour goods or a person who's really focused on getting upgrades. There could be a type that is a nice mix between them both though, right? Who says that they're mutually exclusive? So we'll have to wait and see exactly how it unfolds. I think when it comes to civilization affinity, this is probably the one I feel the least affinity with. So I apologize if this video is not as prepared as the other civilization overviews were. But we'll leave it here. Hopefully you've enjoyed it nonetheless. And of course, we'll make sure to catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.